Hey, what's going on, guys? Cody Sperber, the Clever Investor here. Today we're going to do something different. This is a really special treat for you guys. This is something I normally would not record, but I'm about to do a training with my personal investing team about phone domination. And I know I keep putting out these types of training videos about dominating on the phones, but there's really two money-making activities that you have to master as a creative real estate investor, and that's talking to people and writing offers and negotiating. And so this is a special treat because today I'm going to be training my team. Some of them are really good at this stuff and some of them are newer and they need some help on what and how questions, labeling, pacing, mirroring, bridging gaps, using your physiology while on the phones, all the core skills and things that they need to actually be deploying so we can get more deals. So I thought I'm going to be training them, might as well as be training you at the same exact time. So enough chit chat. Let's go start the training. All right, so I wanted to spend a few minutes with you guys kind of going over some of the basic fundamental skills that I want to make sure everybody is deploying here, because I've heard now some of you guys on the phones and some of you guys are just naturally good at what you do. Like, you're naturally good at building rapport. You're naturally good at having conversations. You don't have any fear. You're just, rolling right into resistance and just dealing with whatever hurdles come along. So I want to go over a couple things because I've now mentioned this probably 4 or 5 times to various people, but I've noticed that this document is not next to your phones. This document is super important because as an acquisition expert, you should be asking questions more than talking. Building rapport, building connection, understanding why, understanding price, understanding motivation, agitating pain, it all stems from this. Memorizing this or having this next to your phone is super vital. So these are what and how questions. So we call this motivational interviewing. How do we understand somebody? We just got to ask questions, right? All right, and it all stems down to what and how questions. So questions like, what's happening in your life to make you want to sell your house to me here today? What are the biggest challenges you face? What are the biggest issues with the house? What repairs are needed? How would selling a house to me affect your family? What's your backup plan if you can't find a buyer for your property quickly? How would you like me to proceed? The best people on the phones focus on emotions. So like the worst people focus on logic, all right? Which is what, when we're new, we go to logic, right? Everything's so logical. It's like, this is what I can offer. This is why you want to do it, right? I'm going to pay you this price. And it's like benefit driven. But the reality is more people will move because of fear than hope of success. You guys understand that? So if we're always trying to move them over this, we call it the action threshold. So in order to move them over the action threshold, we have to talk about the things that are the intangibles. Agitating pain, agitating stress, fear of looking stupid. Pretty much add fear of something, and that's all the intangibles, if that makes sense. Number 2 is pacing. What does pacing mean? Anybody but Bryant.
The flow you're going with the conversation, your speed, who you're talking to. Are you talking fast or are you talking slow?
Okay, speed of conversation. Okay. Do you want to talk fast or talk slow?
Slow.
Why? Don't.
Not my strong suit.
No, this is your strong suit.
It gives you more control.
Gives you more control. Gives you more perceived control. Okay, I'll buy into that.
Okay.
When you deal with somebody and they're talking really, really fast, what emotion does what emotions coming across? Desperation, anxiety, right? Seriously, you see, motivational interviewing, what I'm trying to teach you guys eventually is how to get over into emotional intelligence. Because that's the ultimate goal for somebody on the phones, is this transition from the logical to emotional intelligence and emotional negotiations. You guys move over to there, we'll triple the amount of volume that we do here. And so if we're talking really fast and they're talking really fast, the conversation has a lot of anxiety, and it seems desperate, and it doesn't make you sound like a professional.
Right.
Remember, they don't see you. They're visualizing your face, what you're wearing, your body language. They're visualizing it all because they don't see you. And so if you guys lower your tone, right, go deeper and go slower, you're going to get more deals. Girls, just go slower.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to be kind of creepy with it. But it is literally, Chris Voss calls it talking like a late night FM DJ. Mirroring. Mirroring is a rapport building technique. All right, it's just asking you're taking a statement and you're twisting it into a question. Now, if you do it properly, you're going to change your tonality at the end of the sentence. All right? So you're saying you want $300,000 for your property? You're going to bring it up at the end. Why do that? Because that's how we, over the phone, translate a question, right? It's by changing our pitch. So if you practice this right, you can turn a lot of statements back into what we call, this is a rapport building active listening technique. So pick up on the cues of little things that they're saying to you. So like they might say something like, I'm concerned I won't get the money fast enough. So John, you're concerned that you're not going to get the money fast enough? And then you stop talking. By mirroring back, they're going to automatically feel like subconsciously, all right, this person's listening to me and there's rapport being built. All right, labeling. What is labeling? It goes along with this, right? So we can take statements and turn them into questions, and we can also label positive and negatives in the conversation by leaning in on things that they're saying and spinning it in a way, and you just start off every sentence like this. Well, John, it sounds like something, it seems like something, or it feels like. All right? And if we label correctly, we can attack the negatives and move them over to an emotional thing. So, well, John, it seems like you're really worried you're not going to get the money in time. And the truth of the matter is, if you work with a lot of other people, they're a lot of fluff, and they're not going to be able to perform like we are. Well, I just want to reassure you that when you do a deal with us, we're going to address that concern, and we're going to get your cash as quick as possible. It sounds like your sister really, is emotional over the property. Am I right? Yeah. Okay. So what we want to do here is we want to get her involved as soon as possible in this conversation, since it is a probate situation and we need her to be on board to help make a decision in this. It feels like, right? It sounds like, it seems like, when you frame it this way, we're able to attack the negative and then spin it into the benefit that we're going to bring to the table. Do you guys understand that? Bridging the gap. We talked about this. It's really simple, right? How can I help you here today? How can we work on this together? I ask for their help all the way through the rapport building process. A lot of new investors, they come into the conversation and they act like they have all the solutions. They're like, right out of the gate, they're telling you, this is how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to solve your housing problem. This is how we're going to get you the money. This is how we're going to, and it's like the person doesn't want to hear that. They want to feel in control. They want to be part of the solution creation process. And so, how do we bring them out of this telling them how to do business with us? We give them perceived control by saying, hey, how can we work on this together? If I had a magic wand, what would the perfect deal look like for you? Last thing I want to say about this stuff is physiology. 7% of the way we communicate happens through our words. That's it. So what does that mean? Body language. 55% is body language, even over the phones. I see some of you guys kicked back in your chair. It's leaned all the freaking way back, and you guys are all the way like chilling while you're having these conversations, like we're on vacation. Right? I would get up out of your seat and pace or move or sit up proper when you're having these conversations. Still talk slow, talk in a low voice, but take ownership of the call. And if your body language is hunched over or you're chilling like a villain, I'm telling you right now, it's coming across. They're visualizing you chilling like a villain. You might not know it, but you're sending that signal. And when you watch my guys over here that are actually, professional phone guys, they don't do that. They're up, they got the desks that raise, and they're standing there, and they're in a conversation, and they're present, and they're fully present, and they're trying to really translate through the phone exactly what image they want the other person to feel. You guys are all going to be pros now, right? You're going to get out there and just
Practice it
how are you going to practice this?
on the phones.
Here's what
Each other.
You can role play.
you can role play.
That's what. Yes. Okay, role play.
You can role play. You can write down things that as you're having these conversations that jump out at you and you're like, oh, that was a moment I could have labeled, but I didn't, right? What?
Record your conversations.
How many of you guys actually record the conversations and listen back to them?
I do sometimes.
I do this all the time. I'm telling you right now, if you were listening back to your conversations, you'd make 3 times the amount of money by the end of this year. Because how we actually sound is a lot different than how we think we sound. And I know for me, I did something else. I took it to the extreme. I put a mirror on my desk so I would watch myself have my conversations. And I started to realize, boy, my physiology sucks. I'm not present in the conversation. I'm not mirroring properly. I'm not labeling properly. I'm not bridging the gap properly. These are core fundamental skills and capabilities you have to master if you want to dominate on the phones and make hundreds of thousands of dollars for yourself this year. Recording your calls, tracking your KPIs, practicing these things, that's it. It's very simple. You do that repetitively over and over and you're going to end up winning.